Time is flying here on election night, and we're getting closer and closer to our 9 p.m. poll closing, the second largest of the night. I'm here to take you through which races to watch and what factors our race call team will be including in their race call projections throughout the night. 15 states close their polls at 9 p.m. Eastern, including key Senate and gubernatorial races in Arizona and Wisconsin, as well as several battleground House races in New York and Colorado. Starting in Arizona, the race for governor has received a lot of attention, and deservedly so. It's currently rated as a toss-up by Inside Elections, and Republican nominee Kari Lake leads by just a few points in both Real Clear Politics and 538's polling averages. Lake, however, has received criticism for saying that she would not have certified President Joe Biden's victory in Arizona if she had been governor at the time. In the Senate race, though, Democratic incumbent Mark Kelly's Republican opponent, venture capitalist Blake Masters, has walked back some of his more hardline assertions on abortion and immigration in an attempt to win support among moderate voters across the state, but he has consistently trailed Kelly in polling. And as always in Arizona, both of these races will come down to the margin in Maricopa County, which houses roughly 60% of the state's voters. Both Hobbs and Kelly will need to win Maricopa County by at least 1.5 points to win, though Kari Lake could conceivably outperform in Maricopa because of her visibility from her time as a news anchor there. Moving on, Wisconsin's gubernatorial election between incumbent Democratic Governor Tony Evers and Republican nominee Tim Michels is certainly one to watch. This race is virtually tied in both 538 and RCP's polling averages and is rated as a toss-up according to Inside Elections. The counties to watch here are Dorr and Sauk. Trump won both in 2016 when he carried the state, then Biden won both counties with his statewide victory in 2020. Evers is forecasted by DDHQ to run relatively even with his former lieutenant governor and now Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate in Wisconsin, Mandela Barnes, who is taking on tried and tested Republican incumbent Senator Ron Johnson. Johnson has a track record of overperforming expectations through exceptional strength in northeast Wisconsin and the WOW counties, Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington, that compose the traditionally conservative Milwaukee suburbs. Most notably in 2016, he defeated former Democratic Senator Russ Feingold by 4%, despite trailing in almost every single poll. As such, DDHQ rates the contest as likely Republican. Now let's take a look at some key House races. Starting in Arizona's 2nd District, Democratic incumbent Congressman Tom O'Halloran faces aspiring Freedom Caucus member Republican Eli Crane. This seat became 10 points more Republican via redistricting, and the only reason O'Halloran is still even competitive is that Crane may underperform a more generic Republican candidate. But if Republicans are to flip the House tonight, there's virtually no scenario in which they lose a Trump +8 district. Moving on, the state of Colorado gained a seat in the House following the 2020 census, and the state's independent redistricting commission drew up the new 8th district to be a highly competitive Biden +4 seat. Democratic State Representative Yadira Caraveo faces Republican State Senator Barbara Kirkmeyer, who has a much stronger home advantage within the district. Colorado's 8th should be fertile ground for a strong Republican overperformance, considering the district is right trending, much less educated and more Hispanic than the rest of the state. Next up, though, is Iowa's 3rd. Sydney Axne is the lone remaining Democrat representing Iowa in Congress, and she is very much at risk against Republican State Senator Zach Nunn. This Des Moines-based seat voted for Trump by less than a point in 2020, while Axne held on by just over a point. In 2020, Axne won a very similar version of this district, despite only carrying one of the 19 counties. Finally, the state of New York features several intriguing House races in these midterms, but I'm going to focus on the two most competitive. First up is the 19th district. Republican Mark Molinaro was upset in an August special election for this district by Democrat Pat Ryan, who is now running as the incumbent in the 18th district. Now he faces Josh Riley in this R+1 seat. And lastly, New York's 22nd district was vacated by popular Republican incumbent John Katko as it lost much of its old territory in redistricting. Now Syracuse-based, the contest features two Navy veterans, Democrat Francis Cannoli and Republican Brandon Williams. The district would have voted for Biden by 8% in 2020, and to hold this seat, Republicans will need to keep Democratic margins down in Onondaga County, while overperforming in Madison and Oneida. That does it for the 9 p.m. poll closing. Back to the experts in the studio.